Right. Sorry, a slight delay. Hello, everybody. Whoever is joining us at the moment here for ID 24. So next up, we have Makoto Ueki, and he's a web accessibility consultant. He's been working with the Japanese Industrial Standard Working Group, W3C WCAG Working Group. He's well known in the Web Accessibility Committee in Japan since 2012, and he's here now to talk to us about designing accessible web content for older users. And if you have any questions for Makoto, as ever, tweet them to hashtag ID24. And now, without further ado, take it away, Makoto.
Thank you, Patrick. First of all, I'd like to thank the Partial Group for organizing ID24 and having me again this year. And thank you in advance for your patience with my English. I'm Makoto Ueki from Tokyo, Japan. I'm a web accessibility consultant in Japan. Most of my clients are Japanese companies, including some global companies. And I'm a chairman of a Web Accessibility Infrastructure Committee in Japan. Also, I've been participating in W3C's Accessibility Guidelines Working Group. Web accessibility means that people with disabilities can use the web. This is sort of the official definition by W3C's Web Accessibility Initiative. And introduction of WCAG 2.0 reads, Web Content Accessibility WCAG 2.0 defines how to make web content more accessible to people with disabilities. It also reads, these guidelines also make web content more usable by older individuals with changing abilities due to aging. Japan is the most rapidly aging country on this planet. According to the World Population Prospects published by United Nations, Japan will be getting older and older in the near future. It is also said that in 2023, 6 years later, more than half of population in Japan will be 50 years old or older. This is the another data published by United Nations, which estimates population aging rate in Europe, North America, and Asia. It shows the ratio of elderly people at least 65 years old. Japan already reached 25% in 2015, and Japan will reach 40% in 2060, 43 years later. Let's take a look at the internet utilization ratio by age in Japan. The ratio of users in their 60s and 70s are increasing gradually. Actually, they are using smartphones, tablets to access the web as well as PC. And it is obvious that the internet users are aging. In Japan, we have a national standard for accessible web content, which is called JIS-X H341 Part 3. The latest version was published last year and finally became identical to WCAG 2.0. It was published for the first time in 2004. One of the characteristics was that the national standard included older persons as the target users for web accessibility, as well as people with disabilities. So I've been conducting usability testing with the elderly people for more than 10 years. Today, I'm going to share the findings from the testings. my feeling is that the issues and the challenges older users are facing are almost identical to those for people with disabilities. First of all, let's take a look at how older people are using the web. Um, this is the document published by WAI, Web Accessibility Initiative of W3C. Web accessibility and older people meeting the needs of aging web users. This is a very informative document. And this document indicates the overlapping needs between older people and people with disabilities. It reads, many older people have age-related impairments that can affect how they use the web, such as declining vision, physical ability, hearing, and cognitive ability. As we get older, we will face the decline in vision, including reduced contrast sensitivity, color perception, and near focus. Actually, for me, things are getting serious. I'm not 65 years old though. For example, um, when I come to United States, I always have hard time to count coins because I don't remember which coin is 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, quarter dollar, 50 cents, and $1. So when I buy something, I tend to pay by dollar bills, paper money, because it will take time for me to count coins. Japanese coins are pretty simple and easy to count. It has each number on the coin: 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500. The text size on each coin is large enough for me. But coins of United States dollar, it becomes harder year by year for me to read text on each coin as I'm I'm getting older. Too small. So I have a bunch of coins in my pocket whenever I leave the United States at the airport. Um, let's get back on track. We will also face the decline in physical ability, including uh, reduced dexterity and fine motor control, which will make it difficult to use a mouse and click small targets. And we will face the decline in hearing, including difficulty hearing higher pitched sounds and separating sounds. Lastly, cognitive ability. Uh, it includes reduced short-term memory, difficulty concentrating, and being easily distracted. This is true. I've seen how older users are using the web for many years. They don't like to follow navigation and they don't like to complete online forms. Today, I'd like you to learn a Japanese phrase, which is a keyword to understand their issues. During the usability testing, older users often say this phrase, めんどくさい. It is a Japanese phrase which means troublesome or tiresome, something like that. After I observed their action and behavior, I asked them, why did you do that? Or why didn't you do that? Then they answered, because it was mendokusai. This is important phrase to understand the issues they are facing on the web page. So yeah, let's practice how to pronounce mendokusai. Men, M-E-N, men. Dock, D-O-C-K, dock. Sai, S-I-G-H, men, dock, sai. One more time. Don't be shy, okay? Men, dock, sai. Men, dock, sai. Let's go all together. Men, dock, sai. Mendokusai. All right. Okay, now let's walk through the findings I'd like to share with you today. I'm going to talk about these 10 topics: page title, link text, headings, color contrast, resizable text, icons, saving space, target size, error message, captions. The first one, page title. When older users find a text field for search, they input some keywords and hit the search button. Many older users love search. They do love search. They don't like to follow links. So if your page titles shown on the search results page are not descriptive, they may not find the web page that provides information they are looking for. The point is that page title must be descriptive so that all the users can find the web page on the search results page. If it's not descriptive, it could result in tremendous opportunity loss for you, because the older users would say mendokusai and leave your website. W3C's Web Accessibility Initiative published Easy Checks document, which is very useful for accessibility beginners. The document explains what to do and what to check for when checking web pages. If you haven't read this material, it is worth looking over this document. Next one, link text. I'm going to share two issues here. First question is about the visual appearance of the link. Does it look like a link? And second one is about the link text itself. Can you tell where the link goes? If the answer is no, then the older users will need to read the context of the text link, and they would think it is mendokusai. When conducting the usability test with older people, I've noticed that they are looking at underlined blue text on the web page. If the link is not blue or the link is not underlined, they might not perceive that it is a link. And the point is whether the link text is descriptive or not. For example, we should avoid using link text such as click here or here. The link text must be specific and concrete so that users can decide whether they want to follow the link. The descriptive link text benefits all users, including the search robots. Headings. Headings must describe content of the section. When using eye tracking system, I've noticed that they skip in reading by jumping from one heading to another. If headings don't describe topic of the section, the older users may have hard time to find the content they are looking for. You might have seen a heat map like this. The older users don't read the text on the web page in general. When the users are using the web, they are in a hurry. They look at images, large text, and bold text on the web pages. They don't read small text because it is めんどくさい. So we must provide descriptive headings for each section on the web page if possible. It helps users to find the information they are looking for more easily and more quickly. Next one, color contrast. In my opinion, this is one of the critical issues for web accessibility. As we are getting older, we notice that it becomes hard to read small text and text that has insufficient color contrast due to logan. Do you know logan? Logan is a Japanese word which means aged eyes, old sights, or I don't know how to pronounce this one, presbyopia. Anyway, if a text doesn't have sufficient color contrast, the older users don't read the text or they have hard time to read it. They miss the important information, buttons, headings, whatever. Wiki 2.0 doesn't have any success criterion on color contrast at level A. So this web page, which has very, very, very light gray text on a white background, this page meets level A of Wiki 2.0. Did you know that? This is true. Trust me, because I've been participating in Wiki working group for many years. Anyway, if the elderly people encounter a web page, they would think it is めんどくさい to read text which has insufficient contrast. Text size. Text size is important as well. The older users have difficulties in reading small text, as I mentioned before. The modern browsers provide the zoom functionalities so that users can resize text when needed. But I've not seen the older users who use the zoom feature of the browsers. Even if the text on the web page is too small for them, they try to read it. Many Japanese websites, especially public sector's websites, provide resize text buttons in the upper right corner of the web pages. This might be helpful for older users, but they rarely hit these kind of buttons. The problem is its inconsistency in the look and feel and the functionality. Some can resize text up to 200%. Others can resize text only up to 120%. Some buttons can be activated several times. Other buttons can be pressed just once. But I think this is a role browsers should play in the first place. Actually, Internet Explorer version 3 had a font button. Japanese population is rapidly aging and many countries are aging as well. If most of users don't know how to use Zoom functionality, I think browser vendors should do something. It's one of the usability issues for browsers. Um, I'm going to share some issues that we don't have any specific success criterion in Wiki 2.0. Um, the first one is icon. If we use icons for a link or a button, we must be very careful, especially when we use the icon without text label. For example, this is a screenshot of a YouTube video player. Um, there are icons we are familiar with, such as play button, pause button, and information icon. Most of users understand the meaning and functionalities, and I'm sure they will use these buttons. But if we use the icon only, we should be very careful. If users are not so familiar with the icon, they don't try to hit the button. So in many cases, it would be better to provide the label text with the icon. Even the hamburger icon for open menu button, my my feeling is that most of older users still don't understand what it is and why it's there. So I would recommend to provide the label text next to the hamburger button. This is example from New York Times websites. They provide label text next to the hamburger icon and a magnifying glass icon. Users can understand each functionality very easily. Next one is saving space drop-down menu. We can save space on the web page by using the drop-down menu and drop-down list. This is a screenshot of MLB.com website. Um, there are 4 drop-down lists in the footer area. I've seen many older users who don't open this kind of menu. It is a trade-off between saving space and making it findable. For forms, it would be much better to use checkboxes or radio buttons to present options to users. The older users want to see every single option on the page without opening drop-down list or expanding menu. Even if they opened the drop-down, they would say, this is めんどくさい. Carousel. Carousels are still popular among many websites in Japan. Carousels save space on the web page as well. It allows many more stakeholders to put their own information on top center of the web page. But many older users don't look at each slide. Some users say, I hate this one because I can't read the content to the end. It keeps switching over and over again. Below the carousel items, there is a line of carousel items indicators. They indicate the total number of carousel items and which one of them is currently being displayed. And users can select any carousel items they want to see, but it is very difficult for the older users to click on the indicators because they are too small and users cannot pause the cursor if pause button is not provided. Have you ever visited shouldIuseacarousel.com? If not, it is worth checking this demonstration presented by Jared Smith of WebAIM. Next one is click and touch target size. This is also one of the issues Wiki 2.0 doesn't cover, but the first public working draft of Wiki 2.1 introduces the proposed success criteria 2.5.1. When using a form control, it is recommended to associate the label text with the form control. In HTML, it can be done by using label element. A screen reader will read aloud the label text when the form control receives the focus. Using label elements benefits all the users as well. It makes the label text clickable. That means users can click on larger area to select an option. Target size is important on the touch screen as well. Older users are using mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets. They are not good at touching small items as well as clicking on the small target. They would say, this is really めんどくさい. So the touch target size must be large enough. Proposed success criterion 2.5.1 is proposing 44 pixel by 44 pixel or 22 pixel by 22 pixel. It depends on the pointing devices users are using. Please check this proposed success criteria and send your comments to the working group. I have two more issues. This is an error message. Conducting the usability tests, I always see older users cannot complete online forms. In many cases, the cause is the error message, especially when it doesn't explain the reason why it causes an error and it doesn't suggest how to fix the error. It makes the online form めんどくさい for the older users to complete. If your form has higher abandonment rate, it is worth revisiting the error description. The message should indicate which item is in error and the reason why it's in error. The most important thing is whether it is easy to understand how to fix the error. Actually, I've seen many forms that improved the abandonment rate by modifying the error messages. Okay, last one, captions for videos. Captions benefit older users as well as users who are deaf or hard of hearing. Sighted users are getting most of the information visually. When watching videos, older users might have difficulties in hearing the audio. Video captions can help such older users with changing abilities due to aging. Video captions make it easier for sighted users without hearing loss to understand the auditory information. They can use both visual and auditory senses to get the information from the video. Video captions also benefit content marketing. It is said that captions increase number of viewers significantly, more than 10% in some cases. And it is said that closed captions are proven to increase watch time on Facebook videos by 12%. According to a study in the United Kingdom, 80% of people who watch video with closed captions on are not deaf or hard of hearing. One major reason why people use captions is due to their environment. Imagine when we are riding on a noisy train, working at a quiet office, studying in a quiet library, um, with a sleeping baby in a noisy sports bar or restaurant, and so on. Okay, let me wrap up my presentation. From these findings I've shared with you today, I can say that accessible web contents benefit all the users as well as users with disabilities. Um, there are many common issues. Actually, most of them can be mapped to the existing success criteria of Wiki 2.0, and more will be covered by Wiki 2.1. Yeah, one more thing. Um, I'd like to share one more thing, which is very important. Um, the elderly people tend to answer the question saying, "Yes, I can. No problem. Yes, I do." They pretended as if they had no problem to complete the tasks, but don't take what they say seriously. Um, the point is to observe them carefully to discover the truth. If it is not accessible to users with disabilities, then it is not older users friendly. If it is accessible, then it will be older users friendly and present better user experiences to all users. So let's make it more accessible for everyone who is using the web. Okay, this is a slide which introduces the resources for my presentation. You can check these out, and yeah, for those who will attend the Enabling Summit, I'll be there next week. So please say hi to me. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. Um, let's have a chat about web accessibility, all the users, what I'm doing, and what you are doing, whatever. And I'll come to CSUN conference again next year. I'm gonna submit my talk, and I hope my talk will be accepted again. Um, and you'll be able to enjoy my performance at accessible karaoke party there. Okay, that's it. Billy the Lumberjack Gregory said, when user experience doesn't consider all users, it should be called some user experience. Yes, SUX. Let's keep this in our mind. Thank you. Thanks everyone. That's it.
Excellent. Arigatou gozaimasu. That was
ありがとうございます。
perfect presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have a quick look over Twitter. I don't think there were any questions, but there was a lot of good tweeting of quotes from your presentations. So it seems to have struck a chord with a lot of people. Oh, we got one question here just now from Priya again. She's been very active with questions this afternoon. Do these recommendations extend for the older generation globally? So presumably across different cultures as well is the question.
I think there will be no difference. So it can be extended to any countries, any languages. So it can be extended to globally, I think. There are no Japanese language specific issues. So I think so.
Yeah, I would agree as well from what I've heard. I certainly recognized a few things that even for myself are a day-to-day problem when browsing the web. So I'll take this opportunity once again to thank you very much for taking the time to take part in ID24 and make it the great event that it is. And for everybody who's following from home, we're going to take a short break of about 20 minutes and we'll be back on the hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.